And I'm doing all this without having had a cup of coffee yet, just to warn
That'd
you.
be great.
I went to go make my coffee this morning and like the cream was like a little bumpy coming out. I'm like, oh, darn it. And I can't do it straight up. Well, this is good timing to have Ignite, beginning of the year, kickoff, starting some new goals.
Yeah, you're recording, so if you want to chat, you can.
Oh, cool.
While everybody reads my-
Awesome. That was very brave of you to put that up there, Tim.
Big time.
Well, Tim figures all that out. We are here for Ignite, the first session. So if that's where you intended to be, congratulations, you're in the right spot. And we're happy that you're here. So we have some people on Zoom and WB Har, what's your name?
It's Brian Harrington.
Oh, hi, Brian. How are you?
I'm doing well.
I like to call on people too.
That's your, let's move forward.
Okay.
with that.
Okay, cool.
There
Thank you.
go. All right.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
All right.
Can everybody at home see a full screen of the slide deck?
Yes, thank you.
Perfect.
Yes.
Thanks. Awesome.
Okay.
You got it.
And we have the two Melissas. Nice to see you guys and David on Zoom. So my name is Susan Kenyon, for those of you that don't know me. I've been at Keller Williams for, well, really 14 years. And I've only ever been here, so I come from the perspective of production because I'm a working agent just like all of you guys. And that's whenever I teach a course, like some people will only come from maybe a compliance perspective or something, but mine is always coming from the sense of production and how can I help you or motivate you to look at this as a business so that you can make money and stay in it and help more people. So in the room, we have Kelsey, Ryan, Stacy, and I'm sorry, I didn't get your name.
Deanna.
And Deanna. Awesome. I'm going to write that down so that I can pick on you guys. Oh, I'm going to pick on you in Zoom too. Don't worry. And Crystal, thanks for joining us. Feel free to kick on your cameras there, guys. David and Crystal, would love to see you and to help make this as interactive as possible. So that's my perspective. I started in real estate with my husband, who is no longer in real estate, but for many years we did real estate together. So we always came from the perspective of we worked on all of our clients together. We didn't have like Susie's clients and John's clients. It was just our clients. So for everything that we go through and we talk about today, we both have had to do all of those pieces of the business. And now, Stacy, your spouse is selling houses too. Do you guys split up tasks or clients or? How do you guys, you each have different tasks that you do for your business or?
Yeah, it just depends. Like our clients are pretty separate. So if I'm working on one of my clients, more me asking her for help.
Okay.
Since, she's been in quite a while.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
that's how we roll.
Absolutely. And that worked. Sometimes that is how John and I had to do it too, more from the perspective of there's a lot of personalities involved in real estate. So there are times when maybe my personality style worked better with the client than his did and vice versa. So I don't know, real estate's pretty fluid. So sometimes you have to go with the flow that way too. But welcome to Ignite. So one of the things I love about Ignite is that this class was built by Gary Keller and leadership at Keller Williams. And Zoom world, feel free to just unmute and jump in. I'll try to watch out for like a hand wave, but feel free to just unmute and interrupt me too. But Keller Williams went out and asked top producing agents, what do you do to succeed? And then they built this course around it. So there's no need for any of us to be recreating the wheel. If that's what they all did to succeed, then there's no reason why if we don't do that, we can't succeed too. So that's what this whole course is really built about. And this is our roadmap here for today. We're going to talk about being the real estate expert. And what that looks like so that we can be the real estate agent of choice in our market. We're going to talk about, lead generation. And we're going to talk about lead generation every day during Ignite, multiple times during Ignite. Because really it is the focus of how you're going to be able to build your business. But lead generation looks different for all kinds of people. There's different ways to do it. And organically, I might be better at one way of lead generation than somebody else. Like, we're so lucky to have Melissa Lesniak in the room. This lady can network like it's nobody's business. And that's great lead generation for her. I might not be as strong in networking, but I might have something else to offer for lead generation. So we'll talk a lot about different ways to lead generate, but the importance being that we have to do it. This is a sales job, and lead generation is definitely part of that. Okay. And we're going to talk about lead follow-up, which really, Tim will tell you, lead follow-up might be even more important than lead generation. And because, I've done it, I get a lead, I talk to them, it's really great. And then I don't follow up, and then somebody else's sign is going to be in their front yard. Another way that I always thought about lead follow-up is, speed to the lead. So if the lead is coming in, especially when it's not a relationship-oriented lead, if it's a cold lead, that speed to the lead really will propel you towards potentially getting that business over somebody else that might be faster than you. And you'll see that with online leads if you pay for, a Zillow or a Realtor.com lead or anything like that. So speed to the lead and lead follow-up. And that's going to be like following up with your sphere of influence. And we'll reference that as SOI a lot on slides and stuff. But following up with our sphere, because us reminding them that we're in real estate is our job. And if you haven't experienced it yet, most of us have experienced somebody that we are like, no, they know that I'm a realtor. They would never go to somebody else, but they do. And if they did, it's because I didn't do my job of reminding them that I am here and I'm in real estate and I'm available to help them all the time. And it is being top of mind to get that business when you're doing lead follow-up. An example of that could be too, that I went on appointments last October, November, December for people that are saying they're ready in the spring. So if I'm not following up with them during the rest of October, November, December, and now January, February, and reminding them that I'm here to help them, they could be talking to somebody else. So that follow-up is really important so that when they're ready to transact, I am the person that they think of. And having, that piece of me reminding them and being in their face in a value-oriented way consistently is what will win business for us out there. And then we're going to talk about the transaction. So this is kind of our whole roadmap here for the day. This is a little different. Let me make sure. Okay. I don't know if you guys have the Ignite workbook already, but it's there if you need it. And so this course, oh, let me go back, Stacy. I know. This stuff too is on the Agent Hub. Have you guys had a chance to get on to the Hub? Yeah. Have you guys? It's a fantastic resource. If you haven't been on it, I can give you the website to get on there. Once you get on there once, you'll be on there all the time. But video recordings of all of the Ignite sessions from Ignites in the past are on there if you miss one and you want to see it. And also this workbook, okay? This slide we're going to see every day too during Ignite. And what I love about this slide is it really does break it up. And when I look at this slide, I look over here at real estate expert and then moving over to the transaction. And the cool thing about this is unless you nail what's under real estate expert, you don't even have to worry about all the other stuff because you never get the right to do the transaction if you haven't done your homework and done the business of being a real estate expert. So we're going to talk about what that looks like. So today we're going to be in this left-hand column of real estate expert, where today is spark your career. And these are the sessions that you're going to go through during Ignite. And then we'll be embrace your job, and then connecting with your market, and then defining your value. And then in the sessions after that, there'll be more specifics on lead generation, lead follow-up, and the transaction. You know, for me, embracing my job is giving our people a great experience. So for me, my tagline is relationship, service, and results. And I'm in the relationship business until somebody has a real estate need. And for me, even with lead generation, my strong point is relationships. So I focus on them. And by focusing on that, it becomes a form of lead generation for me. But my goal is always to give people a great experience. The behind the scenes that no one sees, that's what we have to do to show them and give them a great experience, so that they can benefit from that. And by becoming a real estate expert, it's all the stuff that they don't see that we do. So if you tell someone you're in real estate, what's one of the things that they all think that is the best part of our job? Like, we get to go into houses, right? But they think we watch all the HGTV shows. I don't watch any of them. They're like, you don't either, Kelsey? They're like, did you see that last fix and flip? Or I don't even remember the names of them. All the stuff that they see on HGTV is not what we do. And I think there's a big, but you're laughing, Melissa Simpson, right? You've heard that one too? You too, Melissa. Yeah. I think there's a big myth from out there in the general public and in the market as to what we actually do. And that's okay. They don't have to see all of the stuff that we do behind the scenes, but it's all that behind the scenes stuff that build our expertise in the marketplace, so that when we go out there and talk to them, we know what we're saying. When they say, how's the market? We're not going, it's really hot. You know, we're going a little bit deeper than that and talking about maybe inventory and when are you looking to buy or sell? Or we're seeing that the interest rates are going up, but we're still seeing a shortage, so there's still competition to buy. Or we're starting to see some price reductions. So I looked up this morning, there's been 39 single family homes put on the New Hampshire MLS in New Hampshire since the beginning of the year. There's also been 33 price changes. Most of those are down. Most people don't realize that because they're still going out to dinner and people talking about, oh yeah, when I sold my house, you know, a year ago, I got 5 offers and they were all over asking. And, you know, that's what they remember. We're the real estate experts. So then when I say, hey, we still have an inventory shortage, we still have more people that want to buy than want to sell. However, you know what we're also seeing? We're seeing some price changes. So pricing your property right now is super important. Do you want to sit down and chat about that? And that's how you that's how you're showing value. You're teaching them about what the market is. They don't have to know that I look at that every single day and that I spend my time looking at that stuff every day, but I do that stuff behind the scenes. The other behind the scenes things we do are we look at contracts and we learn our contracts. And I know I see Stacy there, and a lot of people on the screen. Hi, Sue Doyle. But going to contracts class, that's how you become a real estate expert. You're learning what the new rules and regulations are. Like, for example, our purchase and sales agreement. Hooray, it's now 6 pages long, right? So we have to know what those changes are when we're going to sit and meet with people. And it's going through those contracts every single week. And after 14 years, I'm still going to contracts class. I see Melissa, who's been doing this longer than I have. I see her in contracts class. So becoming a real estate expert isn't necessarily something that we do today that we don't have to continuously be doing. It's the consistency. Sue Doyle has been doing this for a very long time. She's in contracts classes. And we're doing this so that we're on top of what is happening in the market. The laws are changing all the time. And what I am talking to people about when I'm talking to sellers in particular are what are the pitfalls for them? And by that, I'm seeing their exposure to liability in a transaction has increased over the last few years than I had ever seen before. So being able to have those conversations when you're at a kitchen table is super important, and it really shows your value. And it will make you look like more of the expert than possibly the next person coming in and sitting down at that kitchen table. Does that make sense? Does that make sense out there on Zoom? And becoming the real estate market helps us connect with our market so that we have a reason to be in touch with people. We want to connect with our market through social media. We want to connect with our market through phone call conversations, through maybe direct messaging with people. But being that real estate expert helps us to be able to connect with them and provide them value in a way that in the terms that they need to hear it. So connecting with our market means we have to ask them what's important to them, because what's important to you, Ryan, might be different than what's important to you, Kelsey. And I don't want to be spewing details to you that are not important to you because you'll glaze over like a donut when it's really Ryan that wanted that information. So I have to ask leading questions to know what your motivations are so that I can direct my knowledge to the right person at the right time. And part of that is going to be defining our value. So, what is it for you guys? It's really different for all of us. And mine is staying true to relationship service results, because that's what's important to me. What's important to me is that I develop a relationship so that I can provide excellent service and give people the results that help move their families forward with their goals. So that has been how I've defined my business, but what is it going to be for you? I encourage you guys all to think about that so that as you're moving forward and people ask you, why are you in real estate? This is a really hard job. We have to know why we're doing it, right? Because we spend a lot of hours on it. And if anybody has something to add, just like grab this microphone or raise your hand and help. Anybody have anything on Zoom to add yet? Not yet. So we're going to talk more about defining our value. How can I help your family make the best decision to move forward? That's one of mine. The relationship first part is because I care. I'm not a turn and burn person. Most of my business comes from repeat and referral business, which I'm able to get because of the service that I provide, and because of the knowledge that I'm always undertaking to, like things like the contracts that I'm able to give to people. So we'll talk about value. What is it going to be for you? And you can take notes during Ignite to start thinking about that. If there are people with strong building backgrounds, that's a value that you can give to your clients as you're looking at properties, right? It could be that. And I'm going to do my best to keep us right on time today, and I'm usually able to do that. Okay. So here we go, today's agenda. And this is a great Gary Keller quote. Anyone can do it, not everyone will. Will you? And that's really the big question, because anybody can get their license, go through the class, take the test. Not that the test is easy, but it's doable. But then it's after that, what do you do? Like, are we all willing to take the steps of lead generation and becoming a real estate expert, and then being able to go out there and communicate that with our market and our sphere to be able to help them with the real estate transaction? So not everybody can do it. The big question is after you've gone through and gotten your licenses, will you be one of those people? There's just a huge majority of people that after the first 2 years don't renew their license. So if you make it past the 2 years, that's a great indication that you're going to succeed and keep going forward. And in the meantime, keep coming to things like Ignite and figuring out what's on the training calendar that will help you move your business forward. One of the things that Tim has been talking a lot about as we're moving into the new year is the training calendar. I think this year we're going to see more on our training calendar than we ever have before. And it's okay not to go to everything. Because if you went to all of the training, you wouldn't have time to do all of the things that you have to do to become a real estate expert. So work with Tim or call an agent that, you know, resonates with you. I'm always happy to help people. Look at the training calendar, figure out what works best for your business with where you are at right now, and go do those ones. Because one of the great things about Keller Williams too is that these courses that you hear on the training calendar, they'll all be back again. The one I would stick to is contracts class, if you're going to do anything consistently. Okay. So we're going to talk about committing to self-mastery. These are all, we're going to break these all down individually. But there's a course in Keller Williams called the 6 Personal Perspectives. And it breaks it down into committing to self-mastery, committing to the 80-20 principle, moving from E to P, which is entrepreneurial to purposeful, make being learning-based the foundation of your action plan. We're going to talk about limiting beliefs, the things that we tell ourselves in our head that prevent us from moving forward. Like, I can't go to that networking event because I don't know anybody. That would be a limiting belief, right? And then being accountable. So we'll get right into breaking these down. Committing to self-mastery is talking about, you know, knowing your goals. And have you guys set goals for 2025? I saw you at Business Planning Clinic, so I'm pointing to Stacy. I know you guys have some.
I'd like to be at 25 transactions this year.
Awesome. That's a great goal.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you're talking with Tom and Christina on how to break that down and how to make that happen,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's a lofty goal, but doable. Anybody else have 2025 goals set?
Yeah, I do. So my goal for 2024, I had a part-time job that I wanted to leave before the end of the year. I did that in June. And so I only closed 10 transactions last year because of that job. Not because of that, but that did play a part in that. This year I want to double that. So I want to close at least 20 transactions.
Awesome. I love that. Anybody on Zoom have goals they want to share? It's okay if you don't.
It's on our vision board. I've got 48 for myself and Mark's got 24.
Fantastic. I love that. I think it's good to have a transaction goal. And you know, it's also good to have personal goals alongside with that, and then working with someone to break those down. But committing to self-mastery starts with knowing that you have a goal, right? And then knowing your strengths and weaknesses. So achieving the goal is going to look different for all of us because we all have different strengths and weaknesses. And it's important to identify those. Know how to work with both your strengths and your weaknesses to seek and master the necessary knowledge, skills, and habits to reach your goals. Okay. So the self-mastery is knowing what you want to do, knowing what your strong points and your weaker points are, and then knowing how to figure out what skills do you need, what knowledge do you need. Is there another person that you need to bring into your business to help you achieve these goals? You know, is it you're at 10 transactions and now maybe you might need to pay a transaction coordinator per transaction to do that piece of it so that you could work on maybe more lead generation? Do I need to figure out more lead generation avenues so that I can get to my 25 transactions? So what are you doing for lead generation? If you have 2 lead generation sources, is that going to be enough to get you to the 25 or to the 20? Do you need to build in maybe additional lead generation sources? Do you need to go to Melissa's open house class because she knocks open houses out of the park and gets business from them? So if I'm not getting business from open house, that might be some skill and knowledge that I might need to take advantage of when that class comes around. To how do I get business? How do I treat an open house as lead generation? How do I treat Facebook as lead generation? How am I on purpose about things like social media? All right, I love participation.
As someone who just started a month ago, like, how do you find your strengths and weaknesses?
That's a fantastic question. How do you find your strengths and weaknesses? I'll let you guys pass that around when you guys are ready to talk. You know, some of that is there's a mentorship program here. Do you have a mentor? Talking to them about it. You have Tim as a productivity coach. That's a great way to figure out your strengths and weaknesses. You know what? Asking somebody else in your life, what do you think my strengths and weaknesses? Can you help me out? I'm looking to figure out my business plan for 2025. What do you think I'm good at? What do you think I'm not so good at? I would start there. Write things down. And it doesn't have to be writing things down that you think are the best answer, because it's really just for yourself. I'm really good in relationship. I'm not always good at being accountable. So if I had to pick something on that list that we're going to get to, it's the accountability piece is really hard for me. I don't like being held accountable for stuff. But I have to be honest with myself. So maybe building in some account for me would be, I know that's a weakness for me. So how do I build in accountability that I'm not going to blow off? And that does not mean it's your spouse. I'm here to attest that does not always work. But it could be, I mean, it could be your spouse. Maybe it wasn't my spouse because we were both in the same business. If your spouse isn't in that business, some people use their spouse and their kids as accountability. Like, hey, if you can help me I need to get to 10 transactions this year. And if I can achieve that and we can all help me get there as a family, then we're going to go here on this vacation at the end of the year. But I can't afford to take us on this vacation unless I get to 10 transactions. So maybe you kids can ask me if I've set any appointments today. Or on Friday, have I set any appointments? Ask me how many.
It's a great way to get your kids to do the dishes.
Oh, does that work for you? Perfect. Yeah, get them involved. You do the dishes because mom's gonna work.
Yeah, we're it's a team. Real estate really allows you to be a team. In what you're saying, ask them to help you be accountable, but also like, if I can spend more time working, not doing dishes, then we all win.
Yep. That's perfect. Hey, your kids will probably be really honest on what you're good at too, or what you're not good at. They'll probably be more honest on what you're not good at. But that would be some places that I would start. Write stuff down. Write what you like to do versus what you don't like to do. That's going to be an indicator of what you're good at, right? So we got to commit to, but we have to commit to it. That's the important part. Like, we can set the goals and know what we want to do, but we have to like be held accountable, which we're going to get to, and really commit to doing that. This rule, the 80-20 principle, 20% of your actions lead to 80% of your results. This is like anything in your life can be the 80-20 principle. Right? So we're going to talk more too about the 20% of your actions. Those are kind of like your big rocks. What do you think your 20% from building your real estate business, what do you think the 20% should be? That's the first thing it should be. If 20% of whatever you do here is going to lead to 80% of getting to 10 or 25 transactions.
Building your database.
Yes, building your database. What else?
Putting lead generating in your schedule.
Yep. 100%. It's that lead generation. It's just going to keep coming back.
In your schedule.
In your schedule. That is super important. I'm not great at that, Melissa. I have to get better at in the schedule part. You've done that for 2024, haven't you?
Mark told me I had to put it in my calendar.
That's awesome. Yep. And Kelsey shared, following up on your leads. Yep. Yep, these are the big rocks. So when we talk about what we're good at and what we're not good at, it could be that some of the stuff that maybe we're not good at, how are we going to get leverage for those pieces? If it's lead generation, let's talk about what you're doing for lead generation. You know, there's all different kinds of lead generation. Am I lead generating by calling expired listings? No, but I might want to be interested in that. Then learn how to call expired listings. Learn how to look them up. Learn how to find their contact information. Script and role play on how to talk to them once you do get them on the phone. And then follow up with them and follow up with them and follow up with them until they either list with you or list with somebody else. We keep following up with them until they die. Does that make sense? Not literally die. But you know, sometimes it's just that consistency. My husband, John, when he was in real estate, he loved to cold call. He was the weirdo in the room. Like, not many people love that, but he loved to get on the phone and just call people all day long. Call, 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 call. And that was his thing. He's like, I'm just going to keep calling until they either tell me to stop calling. And this is that, like, outside of the whole TCP thing, which we'll talk about if someone's on a do not call list. Or they list with me or they list with somebody else. And the thing about the follow-up piece, when you're doing something like that, they might not be getting back to you. You might be leaving messages. You might be sending out snail mail. You might be sending out emails. You might be doing a whole mixture of all of that and get nothing back from them and nothing back from them and nothing back from them and nothing back from them. Keep doing it, because when they need you, they'll call back. That's when they'll call you. If they don't have the need right now, they might not call you back and say, you know, hey, Melissa, thank you for that card that you sent me, or thanks for following up. I don't have any real estate needs right now, but just wanted to give. They don't do that. But if you are constantly reminding them that you're here to serve and here to help and you're offering value, when they do need you, they'll call you back. And sometimes during that kind of, you know, lead follow-up, I'm giving them permission not to call me back. Like, hey, Stacy, just wanted to let you know about this new project that's happening in Dover. I don't know if you have any interest in that. You guys talked about maybe wanting some new construction. If it's not for you right now and you're really busy, don't feel like you have to call me back. I just want you to always know that I'm here for you. But if you are interested in that project, just reach out. I'm happy to chat. Sometimes you have to give them that permission that it's okay that you haven't called me back, because you don't want them to not call you back ever because they now feel guilty that they've never done that. So the 20% of your actions, we have to figure out, what is the 20% that gives us business? What is the 20% that will get us to sitting at a kitchen table? So right now in Ignite, they've taken this piece out of Ignite. I wish they would put it back in. The goal for Ignite should be to set at least 2 appointments during all of Ignite. That's not a lot. Set 2 appointments. So what is in the 20% that you have to do to set appointments? Because if I want to be sitting at a closing table, I'm not getting there if I don't have any appointments. And when I have appointments, am I getting contracts signed? Am I getting agency agreements with buyers and sellers that they're committing the loyalty piece to want to work with me? I'm not going to get the chance to get an agency agreement if I don't have appointments. When I have appointments, I need to get agency agreements signed. And then I need to help people buy and sell. And then I need to be able to write purchase off and sales agreements and offers and get them under contract. Then I get to sit at a kitchen table. So if I want at a closing table. So if I want to sit at the closing table, what's my 20%? It's not staying in bed till 10. Right? I mean, I'm coming out of sleepy holiday time, so I'm just in the weeds with all of you people. I had to, like, get back into the habit of getting up early again and reaching out and talking to my people and finding out who needs me this year so that I can get some agreements signed. Okay. But 20% of your actions will lead to 80% of your results. So it's really important to figure out what your 20% is and then spend your time there. The hard thing about real estate, or I should say the great thing about real estate, is that we are our own boss. We can decide what we want to do. And then the worst thing about real estate is that we are our own boss and we can decide what we want to do. So I can say, you know what, I'm going to wait and go to the gym at 10 o'clock today instead of 6 o'clock. I can do that because I work for myself. I have flexibility in my schedule. But is 10 o'clock, 10 a.m. gym time going to get me to my 20%? If I'm spending 20% of my time doing stuff like that, my results are not going to be sitting at closing tables. So I have to be true to myself on what I want my 20% to look like. And then the third personal perspective is moving from E to P. So moving from being an entrepreneurial approach to a purposeful approach. Okay, so when we talk about entrepreneurial approach, it's doing what comes naturally, right? And we all have a natural ceiling of achievement. The things I do naturally, my weakness, my strengths that I don't even have to think about, right? Sometimes what happens is that can lead to disappointment. And then you go down to resignation. And then you move up towards greener pastures because you're going back towards what comes natural. But you're never really breaking through that ceiling. So am I really good at creating marketing content and social media content? And so I do that. And then I don't have any follow through with that to get appointments. So when I'm putting all that marketing out there and nobody's calling me back, I might have some resignation and some disappointment, and I kind of slide backwards. So I'm going to go do what comes naturally to me. I'm going to do more digital content and more marketing and put more of that out there, but I'm going to get the same results until I want to become purposeful, which is it's a mindset thing. I want to become purposeful and have a purposeful approach and do what comes unnaturally. Okay, I just did all that marketing and put it out there. I might now have to actually call people and talk to them about real estate and figure out how I'm going to be able to help them in the future. Or who else do they know that might need my services? Or figure out, how do I do some networking? Maybe I go into a networking group and I teach other people in other industries how to do digital marketing that I'm so good at. And while I'm doing that, they're learning that I'm a real estate agent and I'm talking to them about how I can help them. And now I might actually be getting some leads. That could be purposeful, because the networking part might not be what your natural ability is. But I could use my natural ability at being good at something and bring that out into the marketplace to learn and meet new people. So you have to figure out doing what comes unnaturally to break through that natural ceiling of achievement so that you can have better success. And that's going to look like having focus, because now I have to put more energy and focus time into doing what comes maybe unnaturally to me, like putting net lead generation in my calendar. If lead generation isn't something I'm waking up and just automatically wanting to do every day. And it could mean that you need to have a model or a system in place to make sure that those things happen. What's my model for doing that? What's my model for getting out into the marketplace and getting in front of people so that when there is a real estate need with them or somebody that they know, they think Susan Kenyon, right? I need a model and a system for that. And then once you do that and you have that focus and you have a model and you have a system, I'm not just haphazardly doing this stuff. And that's when you have the breakthrough that happens. And you break through that natural ceiling of achievement. And trust me, when you do that, the business will come back your way. Like maybe it's that follow-up that I'm consistently doing. I'm reaching out to these people and I'm reaching out to them and I'm reaching out to them again, and I'm finding new ways to reach out to them. And I'm finding new ways to add value to when I am reaching out to them. And I have a model and a system for that. I may be calling them once a quarter. I may be emailing them every 2 weeks. I may be sending a text message on specific things. And I have a model and a system to make sure that I'm regularly doing that. I'm not forgetting about them because I'm using my database and I'm logging it. You will break through and have that phone ring back the other way. And boy, does that feel really good when that happens. And it will happen, but it is moving from doing what comes naturally to doing something that comes unnaturally. Any questions on E to P? This is where, figuring out your strengths and your weaknesses, and then building a model and a system around maybe your weaknesses that is also being supported by your strengths, but you put something in place that you have a system, you have a model. We're going to talk more about databases, and that's where you put all of your people that you know into a database. I'm using Command. Is anyone using something besides Command? No? If you haven't started using Command or a database, pick one, just do it, just use it. You put your people into your database. You set up a system so that you're touching base with them regularly, and your database, your system should be reminding you, okay, today it's time to call these people. Or this holiday, I'm sending everybody this card. Or it's someone's birthday. I send birthday cards. I send home anniversary cards. I send thank you cards. I'm a handwritten note person. That's part of how I lead generate. I put gift cards in things. I've got stacks of gift cards in my office. People love that stuff. And everybody likes getting stuff. That's a model and a system. If I want to send a birthday card to everybody I've ever done business with, that's a system that I have in my database. I text them and they get a card. Could be a home anniversary card. Every year on the anniversary that they bought their house, they get this. But it only works if I have a system to do it. I'm not going to remember. You think you're going to remember, but we don't. Okay. All right. 4, make being learning-based the foundation of your action plan. This is a great slide for Ignite because you are already doing that if you're here. You're being learning-based because you're here. But being learning-based, you could start with being ignorant-based, where you want to know for knowing's sake. And you have the attitude of, I know what I know, and I'll ignore everything else. I think that this is where identifying your strengths and weaknesses is important, because we navigate to our strengths because it's easy. But our weaknesses might actually provide some productivity that we really need in our business. So if we don't know what that is, we can't move towards that. Right? Trivial pursuits lead to nowhere. You can get stuck on social media all day long and have nothing. Mine is email. I can sit down and after 2 hours, I'll be like, oh my God, I've just been on email. I've got that zero productivity going through my email. So I might have to calendar when I can go on my email and then shut it off, because that for me is a pitfall. So you want to move to a higher self-actualization where you become learning-based, where, I know what I know and there is more to know. I know I have to lead generate. I don't know how to do that. So instead of getting lost on social media and email, I'm going to figure out where I can go. What is my resource to become more skilled in lead generation? And what are maybe I'm picking 4. Maybe I'm going to think of the 4 ways I'm going to lead generate so that I'm not getting sucked into 10 things and I'm not doing any 10 of them well. I'd rather see us do 2 really well. And then every time Zillow calls to say, do you want to buy leads? Say no. Homes.com calls, say no. Because if you've picked your 2, stay true to them. The easiest people to sell to are salespeople. We're salespeople. We buy shit we don't need. Right? And as soon as companies know that you have your real estate license, they start calling you, wanting to sell you subscriptions. And it's only this much a month. And, before you know it, you're spending this money and you're not using them. You don't have a model and system in place for that. You're just throwing it away. Right? So we want to know for doing sake, and that will lead to breaking through that line to productivity, right? We want to be productive. We want to be productive, producing agents that get commission checks that we bring home to our families so that we can do fun things with them and we can pay our bills, right? And it will lead to enlightenment. Guess what? It feels really good when I help families. I'm relationship oriented because I am motivated by money, and I have no problem letting people know that. My family would tell you that I am. I'm also extremely relationship oriented. I love to help people. So that fills my cup when I'm working with someone and I'm helping them. If I'm helping old people so that they can sell their place and get into assisted living, I love that stuff. I am meeting with more divorcing people than ever before, and it's really hard working with them, but I know I'm helping them. I'm helping them get through something they can't do together in a lot of situations, right? If it's not a fun divorce, they can't talk to each other, I can be that person that can get them through that transaction without taking anyone's side, but also so that they don't have to maybe communicate with each other very much. I can do that for them. That feels really good. So sometimes I might be helping someone out of a bad situation. Sometimes I might be helping them into a good situation. Either way, I like to help people. So I have to be learning based where I know what I know and there's more to know. How do I do that? How do I become, Switzerland when I'm working in that situation? How do I find more times when I can be Switzerland for people so that I can break through and become more productive? Okay, so make being learning based the foundation of your action plan. So I have to know, I have to look at that training calendar and know what classes do I need to go to do that? And which ones can I skip right now? Do I really need a luxury class when I'm just starting out? Probably not. Probably not. You can get there. Maybe that's in your 5-year plan. Maybe figuring out your contracts and maybe your top 2 lead generation sources. That'd be a great goal for you guys for Ignite. Figure out what your top 2 lead generation activities are going to be. And there's going to be a whole class on lead generation. So they're going to talk about that. Like how can you lead generate, calling for sale by owners, calling expireds, doing really good open houses to get leads. So being learning based means I'm going to try to do open houses for every agent that doesn't want to do them. I don't do my own open houses. So if that ever becomes something that you're interested in, reach out to me. That's not one of my lead generation sources. But if I'm going to do them, I want it to be productive. So now I'm going to go from being ignorant based, I'm just going to do open houses, to being learning based. I'm going to learn how to do open houses where I actually get leads. Am I marketing it enough ahead of time? Am I door knocking the neighborhood ahead of time? Am I door knocking the neighborhood after the open house? And all the other things Melissa Lesniak does for open houses, right? Because I want those unsigned buyers as leads, but you can get seller leads from open houses. Have I talked to all these neighbors? Because guess what happens when when one property goes up in a neighborhood? Another property is going to be going up in that neighborhood. It just happens that way. And when that other property goes up and you didn't get it, it's like, man, I just sold in there. Why didn't they see my sign and call me? That's not a them thing. That's a me thing. I never door knocked and gave them my card. I never said, I'm selling 123 Main Street. You're at 124 Main Street. Can I help you? Have you thought of buying and selling? This is what we're seeing happening in the market in your neighborhood right now. So that's being purposeful when you're being learning based. Okay. So there's 2 goals already, right, that we can have for Ignite. Set 2 appointments to sit down at a table and talk to somebody about real estate. It doesn't mean they're selling tomorrow. It could be they're selling in a few years. I reached out to all my past clients on New Year's or within that time frame, and somebody reached back to me. I appreciate you. My goal for downsizing is 2027. Great. Now I know that. I can put that in my database under his contact information. And I know as we're speeding up and getting closer and closer to 2027, that I'm going to be speeding up my communication. And in the meantime, I'm going to be setting them up on a listing card through the MLS so that they can see what houses like theirs in their town are selling for. Now they have a realistic view of what's being put up for sale near them, what's being closed for sale where they are. And I can set them up, where do you want to go? If you're downsizing, what do you want to do next? So I have 2 years now to do kick-ass follow-up. So I have 2 potential contracts right now for 2027. Okay. Learning-based. I am neither especially clever nor especially gifted. I am only very, very curious. Albert Einstein. Coming from curiosity when we're talking to people is so important. Because a lot of times, you know, we might think we don't know what to say. I'm going to pick up the phone and call people. What if they ask me questions and I don't know what to say? But when we are coming from curiosity with those people, we're asking questions so that we can figure out what to say. I might not always know what to say, but if I ask enough questions, 2 things will happen. They're going to know that I'm interested in them because the call should be about them. They should feel that the call is about them, not about me. So I'm going to accomplish that if I ask them questions about themselves. The second thing that will happen is I now will know what I didn't know before the call started. What's important to them? Are they upsizing? Are they downsizing? Are they growing a family? Do they have older parents that they might need to live with? Guess what? Are they blending families? We have a lot of multi-generational situations happening more now than ever. Is that something that's going to be a need for them? Did you ever go back into an office after working? Or are you now 100% working from home forever for the rest of your life? Do you have enough room? Are both you and your spouse stuck in one room working now from home? How is that working for you? So I'm not clever. I'm not especially gifted, but I can be very curious. Come from curiosity. Ask more questions. And then you log that information in your contact, in your database. Because again, we think we're going to know the next time we go to call them, we're going to think we remember what that conversation was about, and we don't. Not if you're like me, anyway. I don't remember. And I don't remember not because I don't care. I just, you know, I'm not the smartest person in the room. I just don't always remember. I have to put a note down. A note about what we talked about, what I think is going to be important to them, and maybe some questions for what I want to ask the next time. Right? Remove your limiting beliefs. This is such a powerful slide. I love this. Oops, okay. I love this slide because we all have these, right? A limiting belief is telling ourselves that we can't do something because of, well, I can't do that. That's just not something I'm good at, right? I don't have enough time for training. I can't go to contracts every Wednesday. I don't have time for training, right? Well, it's offered on Zoom. Could you zoom in? Can you move something else out and keep that in? If I put that in my calendar, am I willing to move it? Really, am I? Then why am I putting, if I'm willing to move it, why am I putting that in my calendar? Right? I have learned from John that things that I'm not willing to move, I put in red. And so one of the ways that helps me is that if I pick up the phone and Kelsey, yeah, great. You want to meet next week? I'd be happy to do that. And you say, yeah, I could meet you next Wednesday at 11. I said, great, let me open up my calendar. I don't have to look and actually see what I'm doing. I just see that at that time at 11, I'm in red. That means I can't move that. Geez, Kelsey, I'm really busy. I'm not real. I don't like to say really busy. I'll tell you why in a minute. I have something booked at that time, but what I do have open is 12:30, or I could do Tuesday at this time. Which one of those works for you? They'll move it for you. They'll move it. I don't ever want people to think I'm really, really, really busy, because we don't want them to ever say, I didn't call you, Susan, because I know that you're really, really busy. I'm never too busy for them. And I don't want people to think that I am. I can't be successful in this market. Interest rates are really high. I can't work with buyers right now. I'm not going to get them to pay a commission to me because the interest rates are at 7%. I can't devote 3 hours each day to lead generation. Melissa said she could, so she believes she could, that she enough so that she put it in her calendar. Right? Does anyone have a limiting belief that they want to share? No? That's okay. Think about them. You know, as something comes up that you're telling yourself mentally you can't do, it should just at least be a trigger to say, ho, 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 that's a limiting belief. I can't learn how to ski. Okay. I personally probably can't learn how to ski. I did try to learn how to ski a couple times. It was a disaster. What I did learn is that I like the lodge. I can learn how to ski. I could also learn how to fall down 5,000 times trying to get from the top to the bottom of a mountain. I learned that I shouldn't ski, but I can still go to the lodge and network. So we want to flip our limiting beliefs to being unlimiting beliefs. When you unlimit your thinking, you unlimit your success. Okay. I can't be successful in this market. We can. If this market seems hard because interest rates are high, we have a shortage of inventory, right? They were just saying that on the news on my way in, how the Southeast has seen inventory come back to pre-pandemic levels. And they're seeing prices stabilize and lower. That followed up with the Northeast is seeing that we are still not at pre-pandemic levels. We are still in a housing shortage here. So how am I going to be successful in this business when we have a housing shortage, we have interest rates at 7%, and now after the NAR settlement, we have different rules for buyers paying their own commission. So if I think I can't be successful in that market, that's a limiting belief. The good news is, guess what? There's a lot less agents than there were before. So my competition has decreased. You're part of Keller Williams where you're getting excellent training. So much that you can open up the calendar and just pick and choose what's going to work for you for right now. You have a productivity coach. So we're going to teach you how to talk to people about earning your commission and writing contracts so that either your commission is built in or we know our buyer can pay that. We just have to learn how to have the conversation. So yeah, I can be successful in this market. I have to figure out how to do that with lower inventory and interest rates and buyer paid commissions. Guess what? I can do that. I'm comfortable with that. I can do that. I'm going to commit to learning how to do those things, and I will be successful in this market. So it's all in how you think of things, and we have to be telling ourselves that, yeah, we can do it, and we have to not have limiting beliefs. Okay. Boy, my kids think it's really fun when I go through these classes, and then I go home and I'm like, Lizzie, that's a limiting belief. She'll say, Mom, are you involved? Are you teaching a class? I'll say, yes, I am, but it's true. The sixth personal perspective is being accountable. And I'm transparent. This is my challenge slide. So, when you are not somebody that's accountable, you're over here in the gray left side of the screen where you're kind of, I don't seek reality. It's ignorance. And I'm not asking questions about it. I'm just saying I'm not doing it. Can't do it. Right? I fight reality. That is not the way it is. That's not how I see it. That's your perception. That's not how I see it. Well, Susan, did you get an appointment? No, but it's not my fault. Nobody was home when I called them. Did you try to reach them through social media? Nope. Did you text them? Nope. Did you keep working an extra hour to try to find someone to talk to? No. I blame people, right? If I am not accountable, I'm going to blame people. I'm going to play the blame game. If everybody would do their job, then I could do my job. It's not my fault. It's yours. It's yours. Why didn't you change something? Why didn't somebody else change something so that my job would be easier? I might have personal excuses. It's not my job. I was never given a chance. It doesn't work here. You know, we see agents that will every year they're with a new brokerage. I bet they're not accountable. It didn't work here. So I have to go over to this company. And then 6 months later, it didn't work here. So now I have to go over to this company. Okay. And then somebody that's not accountable waits and hopes. Hoping and waiting is not a strategy. It's not a successful strategy. It's like praying and hoping. I'm going to take out the praying part because I do believe in praying. Praying does work, but hoping doesn't. We can't just hope things are going to get better. We have to do something to propel that to get better. And certainly waiting, right? The lead follow-up stuff, we don't wait on that stuff. I told you, speed to the lead. I'm going to wait. I got that phone number. I know they're looking to sell. I'm going to call them tomorrow. No, we don't wait. Waiting doesn't work because guess what? If I get that same lead, I'm going to beat you there. Right? Or it's out of my hands. And all of that leads to a victim mentality. All these things are happening to me. It's nothing that I've done. Right? We want to be somebody that is accountable, where we seek reality, where we acknowledge reality, clarity, right? Clarity comes with being curious and asking questions. This is the way it is. Okay, I got it. This is the way it is. We've got 7% interest rates right now, people. There's no indication that those are going down. So I have clarity around that. So if I've been talking to people and they keep saying, yes, I still want to buy. Yes, I am still tired of renting. I'm just going to wait for that interest rate to go down. I just can't do 7%. Well, let's chat about that. There's no indication in the market that the 7% is going to go down. Why don't we talk to a lender and figure out what a 7% interest rate looks like and what that payment looks like? So we're going to take it off of the rate and onto the payment. And based off of their debt to income, what kind of payment do they qualify? And what is in their comfort zone? Okay, now we have gotten them off of talking rates because we shouldn't be talking rates. We should be talking about what their motivation is to want to buy a house and what that payment's going to look like. Guess what? Lenders have programs. My lender might have a program, Ryan, that will work for you to help you with your closing costs. So let's talk about what that could look like. We'll deal with the rate once we figure out what you're qualified for, what programs might be available to you, and what that payment would look like. And how do we go shopping within that parameter? Then we pull up properties in there. Now we have given them value because all they're hearing is it's 7%, it's 7%, it's 7%. They're waiting for it to be 2 and 3. It's never going to be 2 and 3 again. Right? Our job is to get them off there and into reality. Right? So that would be being accountable. Own it, energy and focus. If it is up to me, if it is to be, then it is up to me. What do I want? That is my responsibility. I want to do 50 transactions. Okay, let's look at what I have to do 50 transactions. Is that what I really want to do? Maybe it looks like 35 based off of what I know I'm going to have to do. Just own it. Figure out what it is, figure out what it's going to take, and then do that. Own that. Right? And have some energy and focus around it. I'm certainly not going to get my job done if I'm not high energy or high enough energy. Some days my energy might be higher than others. But it has to be high. I can't just sit down at my desk, very low energy. How am I going to get through this day? How am I going to regenerate? Have a mirror next to your desk. Before I call some people, if I'm in a bad mood, I might have to go and look at myself in the mirror and smile. Because guess what? When you're smiling and you make a phone call, you sound happier. It just happens. I mean, it sounds dumb, but I've tried that. I've done that. It works. It really does work. Have high energy when you're going out to lead generate. When you're getting in front of people, your negativity and your bad attitude will not get you far. So you do whatever it takes to be accountable to being high energy and doing what it takes. Find solutions. What are my options? How can I get what I want? What can I do? Do I need to talk to some lenders to figure out how to get people past the 7% so that when I'm talking to them, I have value to give them? And I'm giving them encouragement and motivation, and I'm understanding and learning about their needs because I came from curiosity. I'm doing all those things. And then, if I'm accountable, I get on with it. Okay, these are the things I have to do. I have to figure out how to work with 7%. Okay, I need to talk to a lender. I need to read the buyer agency agreement again, and I need to be able to know what every line is and read it upside down and then explain it to Ryan when I have to meet with him at 4 o'clock today. And I'm going to put this in my calendar, and that's how I'm going to do it. So we have to get on with it and get to it if we're going to be accountable. Okay. Yes, we can. We might not know the how. We have to know that we can, and then we can figure out the how. Does anyone have questions on that? Happiness is not an individual sport. So Sean Aker has written several books. One of them has been on happiness, but happiness is not an individual sport. So that's why I'm glad that you guys are here today. And that's one of the reasons that they've built an Ignite course, is because together this stuff is easier. Coming in person to contracts class, if you can, being together does make it easier. We have conversation around things when we're together. Okay. If you're struggling, come into the office, sit down with Tim or Tom or whoever is in your sphere for support, and get the support that you need, right? Because happiness is not an individual sport, which is why we have all the things that we do have at KW. We have the KW culture. And the KW culture is that we help each other, especially when we need support. We need to figure out what our next steps are. We help each other. There's a lot of resources here. We have our mission, vision, values, our MVVP. We have Red Day, which is the third Thursday in May every year, where every KW office closes and we go out into the community and we do things to support our community. Because real estate agents support their community. It's important that our community sees us in it in a positive way. We have KW Cares, which is a nonprofit within Keller Williams where, we've had agents in this office take advantage of KW Cares. We have things in our lives that sometimes happen as real estate agents where a tragedy strikes and we may not be able to work. And when we're not working, we're not earning, right? We're not getting commission. KW Cares supports people in the Keller Williams organization. All the stuff that happened down in North Carolina, I guarantee there were KW Care scholarships for that. Okay. How does that get funded? It gets funded through us. I have some of my commission check every time automatically taken out and put into KW Cares, and as a tax deduction, which we need those as real estate agents. But KW has a culture of supporting each other, and those are just some of them. Okay. They have wealth building classes, which I have taken advantage of, and I love them. There'll be more of those coming in 2025, but lots of things to take advantage of KW. And I'm going to play this video. Hopefully it's going to allow me to play it. Maybe. It's louder.
But it is time for something big. Because that's what we do. It's time to tell the world we really are. Why we were called to this. T.S. Eliot said, "We shall not cease from exploration. The end of all our exploring be to arrive where we started. Know the place for the first time." We started as a small real estate company with a mission to become so trusted by our clients that we could become their realtor for life. But of course, Gary Keller taught us that to be realtors for life, we had to be more than realtors. We're coaches, therapists, mentors, mind readers, and magicians. We're digital hunters with human touch. Wheelers and dealers who only use our powers for good. We are advocates and shoulders to cry on, friends to lean on, confidants to trust. Together, we are the keys and the doors to new futures. This is the most important time in our lives. As a company, simply as people. Your clients are feeling that same thing when they come to you. Their first homes, their final homes, newly married, newly divorced, empty nesters or more on the way. These are the most joyous, terrifying, and hopeful times of all our lives. Because your clients are jumping off cliffs, and trusting you to build wings on the way down. We get to feel the thrill of that connection every day, if we do our jobs right. If we do our jobs right, they aren't jobs at all. It is indeed a calling. To build careers worth having, businesses worth owning, and lives worth living. To be entrepreneurs. For 40 years, we at Keller Williams have deeply believed that entrepreneurship is the miracle of America. That in America, you can dream it, you can build it. We're privileged to be in the business of buying and selling the most important and life-changing dream. Dream of owning a home of your own. It's not just an American dream. It's a dream shared around the world. At Keller Williams, we want to continue to earn the right to be the home of the dreamers, the doers, the entrepreneurs, the hundreds of thousands of you who have dreamed and built your own business. And in the process, built ours. We all know everything changes, but we will always champion you, the entrepreneurs, who are powered by purpose, by energy and passion, teamwork, trust, technology, integrity and culture, and trained in the rules of how we would do it, but who also have the confidence to bend the rules in ways Gary never dreamed of, but hoped you would. You see, we aren't here to teach you our past, or to try and predict your future. We're here to help you create the future. We are reigniting a culture of celebrating entrepreneurial visionaries. Because real leaders don't create followers. We create more leaders. We are teaching rebellion and inspiring invention. Your mavericks and world changers. Your relentless creativity, fueled by the competitive drive inside every one of you, will make the real estate models of today look quaint by the time you're finished. Everything we ever did was a risk. We started as a little underdog company and grew to be the largest real estate company in the world. You know what underdogs do when they get big? They look for bigger fights. Look for those fights. We want you to out-Gary Gary. Take risks. Take heart. Take action. All these things that you are for your clients, the coach, the therapist, the key to a new future, we will redevote ourselves to being for you. There's a reason we want your name larger than ours on signs. When you look at your clients and think to yourself, it's not about me, it's about them. Well, it's not about us. It's about you. This is the most important time in our lives. You're living in a home built for entrepreneurs to thrive. And true entrepreneurs don't have to wait for doors to open. After all, we have our own lockboxes. Welcome home.
Okay. Stop, hold on. There we go. So yeah, I love that little video, and that is truly how Keller Williams feels, you know? They are here to support us, and you don't see marketing for Keller Williams out there. You'll see other brokerages market themselves as a brokerage. Keller Williams does not do that. They want to support us marketing ourselves and our teams out in the marketplace. So that's their goal, is to help us do that. Their mission to build careers worth having, businesses worth owning, lives worth living, experiences worth giving, and legacies worth leaving. Okay, the legacies part is important. That is part of the whole profit share piece of the Keller Williams culture, which I'm not going to get into because we will get into that later in Ignite. But you can, if you build a profit share revenue stream here, you can leave that to people if you pass. And we have had agents that has happened to, that their families, even though they're not here, their families still receive a check every month through their profit share business. Okay. Of course, now my clicker won't work. Okay, that's all right, I can do this. The Y for C2Ts, I really like this slide, and I sometimes will put this in my marketing leave behinds, because the belief system of the Y for 2CTs, the Y for C2Ts is, I think it says a lot about Keller Williams. And so when I am out in the market selling myself, because this is a sales job, I'm also selling that I'm with Keller Williams. I'm really passionate about that. I'm so happy to be here and be part of this organization. I want people to know why I am proud of that. And this is really the reason, because we have an attitude of win-win or no deal. And when we're in transaction, boy, win-win or no deal is important. And we have to sometimes get our people there, right? When we're working with sellers, they want the most money for the most agreeable terms. When we're working with buyers, they want the least amount of money for the most agreeable terms. However, in a transaction, you know what transaction works best is when both parties think they're winning. So sometimes when you're in negotiation, you have to give the other side a win. And it's not always money. It's really the attitude of getting your client there in some scenarios, like, okay, this is what we have on the table. This is what I know we've talked about as being most important to you. How people feel in a transaction keeps them in a transaction. We may down the line in the next 30-day relationship with these people, we may need to be coming to them for something. So we want to give some wins on both sides right up front so that we can get to the end peacefully. If you are not trying to be a win-win up front and then into the transaction, you need something for the other side, good luck getting it. Okay? It doesn't work as well that way. Integrity, do the right thing. Our integrity can be pushed and challenged all of the time in real estate. So I wake up in the morning and I tell myself what my integrity, that integrity is important to me. That I will do the right thing regardless of what the challenge is. I will follow my fiduciary responsibility to my client. I will not bend on my integrity. So as soon as somebody challenges me on that, I already know what the answer is. I don't have to spend a lot of thought on it because I know that my integrity level is there. And here's an example of that. Working with the seller, sitting down, filling out a property disclosure, and they don't want to put down stuff that I know is true to be true on that property. I have walked away from listings for that. That is not my integrity level. And I'm responsible for that document as much as I know they are. So if I'm not getting them past that, I'm not working with them because I'm not going to challenge, I'm not going to remove my integrity level that I've already decided is here just to get a contract when they want me to behave here. No commission check is worth my license or my integrity level. So integrity is really important. We do the right thing. And in that situation, it was lying on their property disclosure about work being done without permits and draining gray water into the backyard and into the neighbor's property. Okay, so there are things I can't challenge. You can challenge me, but I'm not going to not keep my high level of integrity. So I encourage you guys to figure out what yours is and do that. Customers always come first. You know, it might be Sunday morning, but if they need me, they do come first. And that can be a challenge sometimes, right? When we all have families, so we have to navigate that. Now they may be, hey, Ryan, I hear you, and this is important. Nothing can really be done about it today. I am with my family. It's not going to jeopardize anything. I'll be on that first thing Monday. Or maybe I'm away for the weekend and I let my customers know ahead of time. I'm going to be away. If these things happen, call me. I'm here for you. Otherwise, let's connect on Monday. Right? Customers come first. Commitment in all things. I'm committed to this. So, you know, if that means that I have to be writing an offer on a Sunday, then I'm writing an offer on Sunday because I've committed to my clients that I'm here to make their real estate dreams come true. Okay. Creativity, ideas, communication, seek first to understand, right? That's the curiosity part. Ask a lot of questions. Man, if we ask a lot of questions and we're able to determine what their motivation is by coming from curiosity, we can help them get to the result we know that they are looking for. So we may be challenged to get them to reduce a price, right? I said 33 price changes so far this year on single family homes in New Hampshire. Sellers are not used to having to have a price reduction after the last 4 years. But now if I know you need this house to sell because you need to get to Florida and you've been on the market for 3 weeks and we have no activity, the market is telling us we need a price reduction. And Florida in April is coming up fast. I want to make sure that we get you to Florida fast. So if we do a price reduction today and we get a contract within this time period and we're in a 30 to 60 day close, I can get you there by April. If we keep waiting, that April timeframe is going to get pushed out. What is your life going to look like, Kelsey, if I don't get you there by April? Come from curiosity, because it will help us to help them get there. Creativity, ideas before results, right? We're certainly seeing buyer agents be creative in the last 4 years, 3 years on writing offers on super competitive price point of 350 in Dover. Everybody's looking at it. An old person lives there and they have so much stuff and we've already asked how they're going to get it out and they really don't know how they're going to empty it. Maybe my offer says they can leave everything and I'll take care of it after closing. Even if I'm not as much money as somebody else, could that really be what is most important to that seller? That they could just pack their bag and leave? It could be. So we have to ask a lot of questions in order to know that, in order to be creative, so that we're getting the most money for sellers and most agreeable terms, or the best price for a buyer with the most agreeable terms. Teamwork, everybody achieves more, right? We're a team with our customers and our clients, but we're a team with our co-brokes. Our co-broke relationships are so important because when we go under contract, we are now a team. Sometimes even getting that contract signed is teamwork. When we have a seller that wants to sell and a buyer that wants to buy, we sometimes have to do creative work to make that happen. And agents are able to make that happen when people working directly are not able to make that happen. Trust starts with honesty. You know, we have to be honest out there. We are fiduciary responsibility to our clients, which means we act in their best interests. But we also have to be honest and high integrity. Okay? We build trust with our clients by being honest. When they say, hey, Susie, I need $600,000 for this house in order for me to get to Arizona. And I've done all my homework and I've run all my comps. And they are 525 all day long, all day. They're never going to be 6. It's never even going to appraise at 6. I have to tell them that. I have to be honest with them. And then I have to back that up with data and information to get them there. Because if I just say, sure, we'll do that, and then we go under and I've never given them all of this information and we're on the market and they sit and they sit and they sit and they sit, that's a problem. That's a bigger problem to navigate than working on the price up front. Trust me, I've been there. Right? So they are looking to us to be honest. Sometimes it's going into someone's house and hey, that house needs work, but to them it's a palace. Right? And it is a palace to them. I have to bring reality in, and that could be photos of houses online that are selling in their market that look like this and theirs look like this. I have to, with respect, get them there. Right? But I have to be honest. Yeah, I think you have a beautiful, amazing house. Our challenge with that price that you need to have is that your furnace is 30 years old, your roof is 30 years old, the carpets all need to be replaced, and the countertops have to go. So we have some challenges here. So I have to be honest with them about that and respectful. And that's how I build trust with them, because I will sometimes say to people, I will always be direct and honest with you. It might not always be easy to hear, but I promise you that I will always be. Okay? I'll always be honest with them. Equity, opportunities for all, right? We're making sure that we're marketing properties and everybody has an opportunity to get there and to put an offer in. We're not blocking showings because I have a buyer that would be perfect for it. No, that's not in my seller's best interest, right? Success results through people. You don't have to be a people person to be in this business, but we do have success results through people. So we have to be able to respectfully and appropriately be working with them, right? We bring a lot of people into a transaction. We've got lenders, we have co-brokes, we have our clients, and then we have our clients' family, right? So let's be honest, sometimes those people can be more challenging to work with than the clients, but we have to get everybody through it if they're influencing your people. We have title companies and inspectors and our own compliance team. Like, we have a lot of people. So we have to have success through people. And we're building a team when we're working with our clients to make sure that they're getting to the end result the way they want to. We talked about Red Day and KW Cares. Red Day is Renew, Energize, and Donate. The ALC is just starting new. We start with a new ALC, which is Agent Leadership Council. And there are people within the ALC that put together the Red Day that will determine what we're going to be doing for community projects. So that kind of information will be coming up in Q1 for this brokerage. And it's the second Thursday of every May, not the third, to renew, energize, and donate within the communities we serve. So that means that we will be having options up north and down here. And KW Cares is dedicated to serving associates and their qualifying family members. So it could be administrative staff in our KW home here that receive these financial grants to help them through a hardship that they may be dealing with due to a sudden emergency. And that's a really important, if you can donate even a little bit out of your commission checks, it's really important that we participate in that. We've had agents and associates within our own brokerage this has really helped them out. So it's a really fantastic way to give back to our people. I don't really, spend much time on this slide. It is important that KW does value and have awards for on a global level for veterans, female-friendly companies. It's a top 500 franchise, and they have received a lot of awards. Training and coaching. I do spend a little bit of time here because there is so much training and coaching here. Stacy, what's been one of your favorite ones? I've seen you at a lot.
We meet every week with Tom. That's one of my favorites. He's so knowledgeable.
Yeah.
But the bold class is really good too.
Cool.
That's probably one of my favorite.
Yeah, I love that. Tom Heaney is one of our brokers who works out of the York office. Did you go to York?
No, we go online.
You go online, even easier, right? Tom has such a wealth. He's been in this business for so long. When I first joined KW, he was the team leader here all those years ago. Wealth of knowledge. And part of the KW culture is we just help each other. And so, yeah, if you need help, he's here for that. And the BOLD classes, we will be hearing of BOLD coming up again. That is a fantastic training and coaching opportunity. Oh, right down here at the bottom. It's put on by KW Maps, where they have bold coaches that will come to different areas of the country throughout the year, and you will learn how to lead, generate, and build your business. It's about productivity. It's about being productive and how to do that. But it is a fantastic course, and you have to participate. There's no sitting back.
Yeah.
In bold. And it's a great course to take over and over and over again. Melissa probably tops us with how many times she's been to bold. And I'm sure she'll be at one this year too, if I had to guess. But we have local, we have things here, and we have local and regional training. Sometimes there's stuff online for regional. Sometimes it's going down to Rhode Island. I went there at the end of last year for a wealth building seminar, which was fantastic. We have two major conferences as a company. One in February called Family Reunion, which is in Vegas this year. It's February, I think it starts February 17th. And then there's Mega Camp, which is in Texas every year in August. So Family Reunion is very large. I forget how many thousands and thousands of people are there. I went last year and I'm going again this year. It has breakout sessions where you can really have an a la carte assortment of what is important to you and your business. Go to those ones, which is going to look different than what I go to and what you go to and what everybody else goes to. But you can pick what is really good that's going to help you build your business and maybe give you some skills and knowledge and network with other people around the country. And Mega Camp is a smaller conference, but you get more large group education from Gary and public speakers like that. But they're both really great. And then there's stuff from Keller Williams University, like this Class Ignite. And of course, we have Command. So there's a lot of Command training. If you guys are having any issues with Command, just look on the daily news. There's a couple days a week that our tech trainer is available to. He's available all the time. His open calendar is amazing, but you can figure out how to reach out to him. His name's KT. You could even search it on our Facebook page. And if you have a hard time with it, just ask Tim or somebody. But there's a lot with Command as far as building your database, building smart plans, which are automated ways for us to be staying in touch with our people. So you set up email campaigns or text campaigns or marketing to be going out or reminders just to call them. So when you sit down and you're like, I don't remember who I have to call today, you could have built that system into your Command where, okay, I just met somebody new. They're getting at minimum a quarterly call. That could be a campaign. So that will remind me when I go in there, who I have to call that day. So Command is a great tool. This is kind of a quick look at what Command looks like if you guys haven't looked at it yet. That line on the left, that vertical line, is basically like your phone. Those are all the apps that you have available to you to go to and search for what you need to use in Command. So there's contacts, there's I use the, I wonder if I can get my cursor to go over it. So maybe I'm talking to someone and they say, oh, I need to buy a house down in Louisville, Kentucky. Great. Tell me more about that. I come from curiosity. I ask them a ton of questions. Have you identified an agent down there? No, you haven't. Great. I'm so happy that I can help you with that because I have people down there that I know will take very good care of you. So let me make some phone calls for you so I can make a connection. Does that sound good? Then I make the connection and then I get a referral check when they close on something because I referred that piece of business. So, or it could be they're talking to their mother down in Louisville and she's selling a home. Right? Somebody you're talking to and they or someone they know has a real estate need somewhere else, get more information. Then you can come over here to this right here. That's where you can look up agents by productivity in other areas of the country. Call them, interview them on the phone, make sure that there's somebody that would be a good fit for your person. Do they have time? Then make the connection and then stay in touch with them until that deal closes. And then, a standard referral connection like that is 25% of their commission. But there's also all these other areas on command which are really important. Like, we put opportunities in here when we have somebody has signed an agency agreement and stuff like that. So you can play around with all of these. And when you're on here, whenever you see a question mark, you just click on that, will get you more information. Okay, there's lots of opportunities when you're in command. In the top right, there's a help center, and there's also training here. What I love too about command is I have it on my phone, my command app, and I keep it stationary on the bottom. So if I'm on the road, I'll call through there. And then when I'm done with my call, the app will ask me if I want to log it. So I can log my conversation right from my app on my phone. And then I'm not having to go back to the office and do that. Oh, there it is. There's the command app. It's really very easy to use. I don't know, does anybody else use that? Yeah. Give it a whirl. It is a time saver. And you can look at what your calls are. So if you're on the road, do today. We'll tell you what you need to be doing or what you might have missed. Blah, blah, blah. These are all the people in our market center. It needs to be updated. Our team leader is Jen Vashon. Profit share, I won't spend a ton of time on this because I think it's quarterly that Tim does a class on profit share. So this is where if, you are working with someone, another agent, and you think that Keller Williams would be a good fit for them, and you help bring them into the company and they name you as a sponsor, when they are a producing agent, you get some money out of that, not out of their commission check, out of the split that they bring to the house. And that is how Keller Williams rewards you for growing our family. But it provides passive income. So, you just once a month, if you are due any profit share, it shows up in whatever account you have had Kaylee assign that to until they're not a producing agent anymore. But Tim has a great class on that where he can also train on how to talk to people about coming in and sitting down and talking with Jen Vashon about joining our family. There's also a lot of communities. So, I wouldn't say go out and join all of these communities right now, but there may be something here that resonates with you. And these are communities within Keller Williams where you would have a connection with other agents within that community across the whole company. There's usually fees involved in being part of that. There's also maybe special education around that. KW Land, Sean Cody, we have somebody here that is on, leads our KW Land community here, and he's very plugged into that. If you have a land question, go to see Sean Cody. That has no interest for me because it's not part of my business. But there are other things. There's KW Military. There's, Young Professionals. That's a fantastic organization or active community here at KW that might work for you. KW Luxury. So if there's something here that you want more information on, Tim can help you with that. Okay. And when you go to these big conferences, they have special trainings and breakout sessions for their people within those communities. Your vision, you'll probably see something like this is in bold too. It's not exactly this letter, but this is an opportunity for you to put, today is January 6, 2026. And if we do the work that we need to do and the activities that we need to do to have the production that we have set our goal level at. Our goal is that in a year from now, our business is thriving and our life is everything that we've dreamed of. Your customers rave about the experience and value you provide and think of you when they have a real estate need. Your family and friends are so proud of your success and are consistently referring business your way because you've become the real estate expert. And now you've spent a whole year letting people know what an expert you are so that now your family and friends are happy to be referring business your way. How great is that? You're helping others live their dream of owning a home because you are focused on helping them get what they desire right? It's not about what we want. We find out what they want and then we help them get there. You're building the foundation and momentum for your entire career and gaining relationships and experience and the income you deserve or you desire. I snuck in deserve there. You're the top agent in your market center, or maybe you're rookie of the year if you're new. You're poised to hire a part-time assistant to handle your 80% while you take care of the 20% that grows your business, right? I'm bringing in enough business now that in order for me to keep focusing on the lead generation and the activities that get me the 80%, I now need leverage, and that might look like an assistant or a transaction coordinator or something like that. And then you are on the path to, and then you fill in the blank. So this is an exercise for you to do on your own where you think about where you want to be a year from now. And why this is important is because this isn't necessarily a difficult job or a difficult career, but it does require a lot of work. And we're like individual business owners. We have to get up and have the motivation every day to do that. If we have a vision for our future, it helps us have that, kick in the pants in the morning. I got to get up. It's April and I need to get to 25 transactions this year. I have work to do because this is my vision. So I would encourage you all to think about your vision for what a year from now would look like to help motivate you to do your 20% as the year goes by. And hey, put this up on the wall, or I put sticky notes on my computer on, things that will pump me up or remind me of why I might be doing something, or I might have a tuition payment coming out for my daughter, something like that,
Ready?
I'm like, well, I've committed to no student loans, so I'm going to do it. It's going to happen. And then you have your big life, which this will get gone through more as we go through Ignite. But you put your boxes here, and these boxes are whatever it is for you. They're individual. So this is an individual exercise, and it could be a group exercise with your family, because we want our family to have buy-in on why we're spending all this time, and which sometimes means nights and weekends and time away from them. Why are we doing it? Well, we're doing it for this big life that we want to create, right? So for this example, it could be donate cat habitat. I don't really know what that means. Somebody likes cats a lot. Apparently they want to donate to that. Get through school debt-free. So there's, that would be a box for me. Maybe you have aging parents and you want to pay off their mortgage so that they don't have stress in their life. Whatever it is, you fill in those big boxes, and that's kind of your reminder of what your big life looks like. Is it that you want to be debt-free and you want to pay off your house? Is it that you want to go back to Italy or on some big vacation? I'm a vacationer. That's a box for me. It's not for everybody, but it's mostly important for what is it for me that's going to motivate me to create my big life, because I like having a big life. I like helping people. So being able to do those things are really important to me. And sometimes when I'm in the dumps, I might need a reminder of what my big life is going to look like. And that motivates me to work hard. Or maybe make that one more call. Or maybe not stop till I get that one more appointment. To achieve success, you need motivation and inspiration for doing it. That is your big why. Right? So you'll hear more about your big why as you go through more classes on here. And your big why is, I struggle with mine because it has to be really big in order for you to want to do all of the things that we have to do to have this real estate career. And a lot of people will say it's your family. I have kind of narrowed mine down to, I have 3 adult children. 2 of them have a significant other. I would like to do a big family vacation every year. And I'm not talking about camping, because my husband keeps thinking smaller. And I'm like, no, I want to think bigger. I'm like, I want to fly us all somewhere. I want us all to be committed to being together for 7 to 10 days. I want it to be something everybody will have fun at. I want it to be a big vacation. And when they have kids, it will be them and their families that go. And it will be the one opportunity that I can make sure that my kids every year have a chance to be together with each other so that they can grow in family and love long after I'm here. Right? I've got one on the West Coast. I've got two on the East Coast. One of those two could be going anywhere, God knows where, in a couple of years. They're not always going to be here together in Dover, New Hampshire. So my big why is I need to give them that space every year that they can be together so that their relationship can grow. I want to see them, but more importantly, I want their relationships to grow. And then when they have families, I want their families' relationships to grow so that they always have that. That's mine, but it's different for all of us. Does anyone know what their big why is? It's really hard. I hate that. It's a hard question. But to achieve success, you need motivation and inspiration for doing it. That's your big why, to give us the motivation and inspiration to do it. Okay. All right, this is not a fun slide, but we have to do the not so fun stuff too. You know, when we're out there in the market, I think that a lot of people, when you say, I'm in real estate, they're like, ooh, you must make so much money. There's so much money to be made in real estate. Yes, there is. When we are working with buyers and sellers and they sit at the closing table and they see what is being paid for from commission, they're like, phew, I'm going to get my real estate license. But let's break down what a dollar looks like and where that money goes, right? So let's just say for this example, I'm the seller, I'm working with the seller, and they're paying my commission as a listing agent, and they are paying a percentage to the buyer's agent towards the buyer agent's commission, right? So for that first dollar, you have the other agent, which is close to potentially half of what that commission, that full commission amount looks like that the seller is paying, right? So I'm going to use numbers to make it easy. Say our seller is paying 5 apples, because I'm not supposed to use percentage, but an apple means percentage. Say they're paying 5 out of their total commission. I'm earning 3 apples. That's what I earn. The buyer's agent, they're offering to pay 2 apples too, right? So if that's a $20,000 commission check that the seller is paying, then I'm getting 3% of that. But out of that total dollar amount, look at how much gets taken up by the buyer and seller agent commissions out of the total dollar amount that the seller is paying. Then out of what we bring back to ours, the market center, right? If we haven't capped, we have a split with the market center. Right? They have to keep the lights on too. So that's why we want to encourage you all to cap. Do we all understand what the capping means? Okay. After you contribute 6,000 towards Big Keller Williams and 24,000 to KW Coastal, if my anniversary is July 1st, that's when I roll. If I do that in 2 months, if I pay all that within 2 months, then the rest of the year I cap. I'm usually a 2-month capper. So we want to see you cap so that you're not paying this piece to the market center. But then you also have business expenses, right? We got to get in our car and drive everywhere. Got to buy business cards. We have to do some marketing. We don't have to pay for a lot of marketing. Don't pay for a lot of marketing until you lead with revenue. When you have the money to pay for a lot of marketing, then you pay for a lot of marketing. There's a lot that you can do with very little while you're getting started. Okay. Oh, Uncle Sam, he gets some too. We have to pay our taxes. I'm going to encourage all of you to do this. Don't be like me and wait so long. I'm so stubborn. Set up with Kaylee where a percentage of your commission check goes into another bank account and a bank not associated with the debit card. That's your tax money. You won't miss it. You feel like you're going to miss it, but when you have to pay your quarterly taxes, it's there. Otherwise, you spend it and you think, oh, that's okay, I'm gonna get a big commission check right before I have to pay taxes and I'm gonna use that whole commission check. Don't do that. That doesn't work. It's the bad plan. Have her set that money aside so that when you have to pay taxes, it is so stress-free when you just go, okay, I have an account and I can pay that. Okay. So I put 30% of my commission check into another account. And I have enough deductions that I don't need it. So I always have a surplus in there. So put it in a high yield savings account and earn some money off it. And that's pretty much, then you get that little bit left over, right? That wasn't a ton of a commission check that the seller pays. So then there are some examples in here of how to break that down. So you start with having a net income goal, and then you figure out your company dollar and royalty cap, your business expenses, your total gross commission, and then and so you start, your total gross commission is what the big number is that you bring in. And your net subtracts the company dollar and the business expenses. But if you know what your average commission is, then you could figure out how many transactions you have to have if you want to net 100,000. So if you want to net 100,000, you need to, let's see how many deals that is. 20? Oops, shit, shoot. Let me go back. It's about 20 to do the 100,000. Now that number changes because it also depends on what your average commission is. My average commission is like $12,887. If yours is more, you do less transactions. If yours is less, you do more transactions. But you have to know what your average commission is. I think the market centers is like 8,500. Is that what Tim said in business planning? Somewhere around there. But this is why you sit with Tim and have a coaching session. You figure out what you want your net income to be, and then you can work that backwards. Okay? So when you talk about, even some of you have talked about transactions, you could start with that if you know, figure out what your average commission is, which I'm sure you guys have, Stacy. And if you don't have it, ask Tim what the market center average is. I believe it's 8,500. And you could use that number to figure out what your income would be if you did 20 deals based off of an $8,500 commission. So you can work it that way. But this gives you the opportunity to figure out what your net income goal is. I'm going to skip that till the end, but you can be thinking about if anything has resonated with you today, for sure. We can have an aha session at the end. So, it's nice to break these like big ideas down into what do I do daily to make something happen? So every day during this class, you're going to end with what is your daily success system. And this is what Ignite has kind of identified it as being, So it's 10, it's math, right? The number's not 5, it's not 25, it's 10. 10 conversations a day. And a conversation means that you've had communication with 10 people, back and forth communication about real estate. They used to say in bold that it had to be a phone call or an in-person like conversation. They've kind of backed off of that a little bit because we all Facebook message so much now, or private message or something, or text. So a conversation could be done over text or direct message. The idea is that it's back and forth about real estate. We want to be having communication 10 times with 10 different people is important, about real estate a day. And we want to be adding 10 contacts to our database, especially for people that are just starting. We need to be filling our database. We need people in there so that we have action plans to put them on. And we know, we want to be growing that number. The more people we talk to about real estate, the more business we'll end up getting, especially if we have a model and system for communicating with them, right? 10 handwritten notes. I keep a stack of blank cards and envelopes on my desk so I can send out 10 handwritten notes. And that could look like anything. I could just have a great conversation with somebody. Hey, it was great talking to you today. Sounds like Sally's doing really great in school. I look forward to connecting with you soon. Happy New Year. Something. It's that they get it. Doesn't matter what it says. People like a handwritten note. You know how many bills people get in the mail? And right now, solicitations for stuff, New Year's sale, flyers, but they don't get handwritten touches. It's a warm, fuzzy hug. And you don't even have to be a hugger to do it. You just have to send the note. The note will do the heavy lifting for you. But people like handwritten notes. It could be birthdays. It could be you saw something on Facebook. Oh my gosh, I saw that you just had a new baby. I have new baby cards. Something, congratulations. It's going to be a great 2025. The 10-5-1 social media engagements, 10 likes, 5 comments on, and then a comment on somebody else's comment. So the thing about social media is it could be a time suck. If you're just doing this, I'm gonna go on Facebook and scroll my life away. And we're gonna like. That really isn't lead generation, but people have built businesses on Facebook, guys. Maybe that's gonna be one of your lead generation sources, but you've got to like other people's stuff. You've got to comment on other people's stuff. I might be on Stacy's Facebook page and like something he put. I might comment, but I might also see that Kelsey has commented on it. So I might comment on her comment. And now anyone that's friends with Kelsey saw that I commented on her comment, and they might see me someplace else. And now they know that I'm in real estate, and I might friend request them. I might see that they commented on my comment, and I might private message them. I might see on Ryan's Facebook page that he put out something on Facebook saying he's doing a big project and he needs an electrician. I might Facebook message you privately, even though we're not friends on Facebook, saying, hey, I saw you post something, or I saw you put something on Stacy's Facebook page about needing an electrician. I'm a realtor. I happen to have 3 great resources for electricians, and I know that they'll all call you back quickly, and they're honest, good people. Here's their contact information. Oh, by the way, what project are you doing? I'm lead generating. I'm not just like, right? So there can be a lot of power behind social media lead generation if you're actually using it for lead generation. But that's an option. And enrichments, right? Are we gifting people? They love gifts. They love cards, gift cards. Send them stuff. We are a unique business where when we do stuff for people, we give them stuff. Sorry, this is being recorded. Any other time they give us stuff when something is done for them, right? But when we go to a closing, we give gifts. Sometimes we'll get gifts back. But gifting works, guys. It just does. It doesn't have to be expensive gifting. People just like the whole feel, felt, found stuff that Tim talks about all the time. They feel important and cared for when they get gifts and handwritten notes and cards. And they like that stuff. I did one birthday card year, I did air fresheners. So I had fun air fresheners made up. And at the very bottom, I put Kenyon Team Realty, but it wasn't about Kenyon Team Realty mostly. It was just something fun. And I had different scents. So for every birthday card, I'd just stick that in there because it was a gift. Not expensive,
Makes sense.
but it made sense. People just like that stuff. And then I'd see them out at the grocery store and they'd be like, hey, I got your car freshener. So whatever that looks like, but enrichments do work. But definitely the 10 conversations, 10 contacts, 10 handwritten notes, and on purpose social media. Okay, the do not call, the TCP Act. We can't be calling people that are on the do not call list. The fine is $41,000, which KW does not pay, right? If you happen to call somebody and they're on that list, your script is, I'm so sorry, I won't be calling you again. I hope you have a great day. Okay. It's a thing. Powerful conversations get results. And that means that we need to lead generate, and a powerful conversation is lead generating, right? And we're uncovering motivations. We've talked about that before. I can help you best when I know why you want to get somewhere. Because somewhere during this whole experience for you, I might be having to bring you back to your motivation. We've been to 20 open houses. We've been to 20 showings. You haven't written an offer yet. I know that you want to be in this school system by this date. Help me help you. Why are we not putting offers in? Why are we looking at, basically, I'm going to say, why are we looking at houses that you're not putting offers in? Do we need to reevaluate what you're looking for? Okay. Powerful conversations will uncover motivations. They'll identify objections. You've only shown me things that are facing the wrong direction. You know, that's an important thing to some people. Well, great. If I had known that, I would have found that out before I took you on a showing. I didn't ask the right question. Powerful conversations will close deals. They'll speak in terms the customer understands and they build confidence. So if you're feeling like you don't know what your buyer or seller really wants, you need to ask more questions. They don't mind answering them. I swear to God, even the financial ones, people, we think that they're not going to want to tell us how much they owe on their mortgage. And when you sit down and ask them, they'll usually just tell you. I can help you when I have all of the information. But you have to have powerful conversations to get good results. Purpose and benefit conversations. Did you find everything that you were looking for? We're going to all these open houses and showings. What are we seeing that you like or that you don't like? Get some feedback from them if they're not putting offers in. Maybe you're hosting an open house. Go ahead, look around. Please let me know if I can help you. There was an agent, he hasn't been an agent for a little while, but he stopped in at an open house I was having once, and he had his buyers with him. And he came in, and I was like, hey, Jesse, how you doing? He's like, good, where's the master bedroom? I said, they went through the house, they left. He came back and just to chat. And I said, why did you do that? He said, people make up their decisions within a certain number of seconds being in a house, whether or not it's going to be a fit for them. So I ask them, what is the most important room in a house for you? For them, it was the master bedroom. So if I show them any house, we go look at that first, because if it's a no, it's a no. But if it's a yes, I can get them past that the basement's not finished. But he had powerful conversations.
That's right.
Right? Isn't that pretty smart? I'm like, I'm going to remember that one, Jesse. Thank you. So purpose and benefit conversations. So the purpose being that the master is the most important. Great. The benefit is being that's going to be the first room we see every time we go into a house. Sphere definition. Your sphere or your SOI are people you have met in one way, shape, or form. Maybe you've worked with them in the past. Their kids have activities that your kids have. You just know them. They're your sphere. You need to be wrapping your big arms around them and getting to know them well. Make sure your sphere knows that you're in real estate constantly. This is my favorite slide of the whole presentation. Okay. Catch your sphere on the move. And I use this when I'm on the phone talking to people. I want to find out if I've already worked with them, then they've just moved. They're on that first hump right here. Right? Most likely, statistics say that there's going to be 7 to 10 years before they're ready to go over here. That number, since they've gotten that statistic, I believe has shortened.
Yeah.
I bet we're 5. I bet we're 3 to 5. I'm selling a house right now for somebody I just put them in it 2 years ago. So the purpose of this slide, though, is they just moved, right? So I might lighten up my frequency of calls to them because they're not going to be looking to transact for a while. I have to stay in front of them because I want referrals and I want them to know how much I care. So I might be reaching out to them here, maybe here, maybe here. When they get down here, and I'll only know when they're down there is when I do contact them and I ask them questions, right? The Ford script, you talk to people about their family, their occupation, their recreation, and their dreams. If you talk to them about that, you'll get an indication of when they're getting ready to move again. As soon as you hear that, ding, 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 that's going off in your head, Now you're starting to reach out to them more frequently. See, each of these hashtags, I'm reaching out, I'm sending value, I'm sending notes, I'm sending information, I'm doing a CMA, I'm putting on my listing card. They're hearing from me, they're hearing from me, they're hearing from me, they're hearing from me. Because right here, they're going to be ready to transact again. And who do I want them to remember when they get there? Me. If I don't stay in touch with them, they're going to remember Stacy. Even though they worked with me before. That's the way it works. So this wave, I will put a note in my command when I talk to people. I need to know when they're looking to do something again. And if you ask the right questions, they'll drop clues. Sally graduates in 2 years and then we are out of here. Great. So after a year, how's Sally doing in school? You know, those kind of things. But I sometimes will even just draw that out and keep it on my desk to remind myself to ask about where are they going to be, when are they going to be ready to transact? They have mom and dad moving in, they need a bigger place. Could be anything. Don't fear your sphere, the Ford method, family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. Any of these conversations will lead back to real estate without you asking when they're ready to have a real estate transaction. How's your job going? You working from home full time now? How's that looking? Dreams. You retiring? You're getting ready to go, you want to move out west? I know you've always wanted to go there. Let me look at some properties out there for you. Let me find an agent for you out there. You know, ask about these things. It will lead back to real estate one way or another. Okay. So that really is it. The next session is Embrace Your Job. And I'm not sure who's teaching that. I'm sure they'll be marvelous. But is there anything today? We're just 10 minutes over, so I apologize for that. I do respect your time. Anything today that resonated with anybody or anybody have an aha that they want like to share on Zoom or here?
Like the tidbit where you said, to give permission to not call me back.
Right? She said the tidbit on giving permission to not call me back. Yep.
That's worth more than saying that.
Yep.
Like, oh, she called me just to say hi, but I don't need to do anything as a result of that.
Mhm.
Whatever.
And I don't have to feel guilty about not doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. That's a good one. Anybody else?
Your motto kind of resonated with me a lot. You know, building relationships and having that kind of be my forward momentum is definitely the angle I want to go in.
Cool.
Yeah,
Thank
that's a
you.
little piece of that. Relationships and results.
Yeah, Ryan said my motto resonated with him. Relationship service results. It's on my marketing. It's on everything I put out there. I believe in it. I focus my business on relationships first. So, cool. Awesome. Thank you guys for coming. I appreciate it. Thank you, Zoom people. I don't know who is here on Wednesday, but it will be Embrace Your Job. There's some really great sessions coming up, and they'll go into deeper dives on lead generation and stuff like that too. Okay. All right. If you ever need anything, I'm easy to find on Facebook. Feel free to reach out. I'm happy to help. Bye, Zoom. He did. Because they're doing contracts live on Wednesdays. I hope I ended this. Let's see.